In this video, we're going to discuss your second major essay assignment for English 101. I'm going to start by showing you where to find the assignment, and then I'm going to discuss what the assignment requirements are. First, if you navigate to the course content page, you will notice the Unit 1 and Unit 2 folders. If you open the Unit 2 folder, you'll notice after week 5, 6, and what is not visible to you right now, week 7 and 8, you will find the progress essay assignment at the very bottom of the folder. When you are ready to submit the essay assignment, you will simply click to open the folder and you will attach your essay just like you did with your first narrative assignment. If you would like to read the essay assignment, you can click on this blue link that reads Progress Essay 2020 and download the file to your computer. Let's go ahead and open it and take a look at what this assignment is requiring you to do. As in the past, you will notice that there is some general background information that helps remind you of the kinds of things we've talked about and studied in this class that should have helped prepare you for this second essay assignment. Let's begin first by reading through that background and then talking about exactly what you're going to do. As I read, I may stop from time to time to add in or clarify some things that students often have questions about. So essay number 2 is called the progress essay. Your task, after considering the ideas of writers, thinkers, and activists we have studied, you will write a 5 to 7 page essay on a topic of social progress, economic progress, or you can write about a combination of the two. Well, what do I actually mean by that? Some examples might be thinking about what is progress and how is it achieved. You can choose a particular social issue, meaning you can write about the progress of women's rights, the progress of LGBT rights, the progress of civil rights, the progress in climate justice, progress in foreign policy or war, or the interaction between nation states. You can write about the idea of progress of overall, or you can pick a particular social or economic issue and write about the idea of progress as applied to that issue. Another idea you may have is when people think progress, you probably think technology. And technology is a kind of social progress. So you can write about the progress of technology and then to write about the impacts that it's had on human beings. And you can discuss whether or not that is truly progressive or if it's something else, or the requirements, the things that were required in order to achieve that progress. Here are some points to consider. This is just generally a review of the essays we've studied in this course under the Unit 2 banner. So we first read A Change Within by Naomi Klein. In that essay, Klein argues that late-stage capitalism, corporate greed, and deregulated trade agreements have led to the climate crisis. Part of the solution that Klein offers is that readers should grow roots in the community in order to bear witness to the changing needs of the ecosystems. Essentially, what she's doing is claiming that change begins on a local level. You may agree with this, you may disagree with this. You may take this idea and apply it to the topic that you choose to write about. Similarly, Malcolm Gladwell in The Revolution Will Not Be Tweeted compares weak tie and strong tie activism. He argues that effective movements require hierarchical structures which social media networks cannot provide. Gladwell asserts that activism that challenges the status quo, that attacks deeply rooted problems, must be built from strong tie relationships. Then you may choose one of the social issues that's suggested above and explain why it is that Malcolm Gladwell's idea is correct or incorrect. In Martin Luther King's famous Letter from a Birmingham Jail, he justifies the use of nonviolent direct action and argues against moderates or people who are in the middle, who call on activists to just wait. King affirms that this wait almost always meant never, and that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor, that it must be demanded by the oppressed. Similarly, Frederick Douglass, in his famous West India Emancipation speech, notes that progress requires commitment and sacrifice. His famous quote is, "If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, it never will." So you might evaluate these two very similar claims and apply them to the issue of progress that you choose to speak about. Here are some suggested topics. You might write, the significant progress for X requires Y. For instance, significant progress in the issue of police brutality will require an abolition of the prison system. Or significant progress for working people will require stricter regulations around unionization, whatever that may be. You might write about the role of social media in achieving progress. Does social media actually help us achieve progress, or does it get in the way, or does it sometimes help us? You might write about the role of community in achieving progress. And again, remember that you can apply this to a particular issue. So you don't have to speak about progress in general, although you might. You can speak specifically about an issue that is important to you, whether it be people with disabilities, whether it be mental illness, whether it be progress for women, progress for LGBT people, progress for religious minorities, progress for Black Americans, whatever it may be. Another possible topic would be how effective is nonviolent direct action, right? So the effectiveness of nonviolent direct action versus other forms of protest, strikes, violent direct action, legislative action, meaning do we just vote in progress, or social media activism, right? So you might compare those. These are just some suggested topics. You really can take the essay in whatever direction you see fit, whatever sort of inspires you. Under the text archive, it's just reminding you these are the essays that we've read, all of which can be found on Blackboard, and two of which, Naomi Klein and the Malcolm Gladwell essay, can be found in the Writer's Presence textbook. Requirements notes how you will be graded. These are some things you must do. You must include the definition example pattern somewhere in your essay. It doesn't have to be the introduction. It could be, but it should appear somewhere in your text. The essay should include some of the rhetorical strategies we have studied. For example, narrative, metaphor, comparison, contrast, repetition, parallelism, etc. Definition example pattern. Please do not feel like you need to use all of these. Use the ones that you were comfortable with. We are not writing a narrative essay this time, so your whole essay should not be a narrative. You might use a narrative as an introduction in the way that Malcolm Gladwell has, but your essay as a whole should not be narration. The essay must also have an engaging opening. Look back to the Naomi Klein essay and the Malcolm Gladwell essay for examples. The essay should have a clear and significant thesis statement. There must be a works cited page, and MLA format must be correct. And finally, the essay must be free of grammatical errors. If you have any questions or just need some help getting started, even after watching this video, feel free to drop me an email and we can set up an appointment to meet. I look forward to reading your work.